I've been warning the last thing anyone should want is a national divorce or a civil war, because there are a lot of people I hear on the right posting comments on X saying the tree of liberty or whatever. And then I see more reasonable people saying, but a national divorce, no. That is a path to destroying the Constitution. I do not accept that. If we have any kind of national divorce, that basically is giving the far left the opportunity to dismantle the Constitution.
I mean, when people say that, it's just spinning their wheels, their impotent screechings on the internet. It doesn't actually mean anything.
A national divorce is China and Russia's wet dream, so we should reject that in every form. But one of the things that could obviously contribute to civil strife is something that Ben Shapiro mentioned, and it's the so-called nightmare scenario. And there's many flavors of reasons to not accept the election results. People talk about 1,000 mules. People will mention mail-in ballots. This isn't unique to the right. On the left, there's people saying there's voter suppression and things like that. But on your nightmare scenario, do you think that would be grounds to not accept the results of the election if your scenario plays out the way it does?
So I think that the systems are the systems. And either you accept the systems or you don't accept the systems. Meaning if it goes through all of the steps and the end result of that machine, and here I'm not talking about the Democratic machine, I'm talking about, we go through the state certification of the votes. Those happen. It's not electoral fraud. It goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, listen, it sucks that the census was done wrong in 2020. Also, Wilbur Ross was the Commerce Secretary at the time under Donald Trump. They should have fixed that in 2020. Should have fixed it in 2021. That was up to Congress. This really isn't our business, and they kick it back. At that point, the president's the president. And at that point, then it becomes a question of what governance of the country looks like. And this is the thing. I think Americans are just aching for normal. They're aching for normal, right? And everyone, I think, on the left, and many people in the middle, thought they got it in 2020 when Biden was elected. He came in and he was in the high 50s in approval rating. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that he wasn't providing any sort of normal, right? Not only just in his own personage where the brain wasn't functional or anything, but like his actual policy was not normal. He proceeded to spend ungodly sums of money, blow up the economy to the tune of 40-year highs in inflation. He proceeded to pull out from Afghanistan, even if you agree with pulling out in the most ignominious, cowardly way it was possible to do it. He then proceeded to lead us into a conflict over Ukraine because of his innate cowardice in Afghanistan. He proceeded to incentivize Iran to lead a seven-front war against Israel in order to blow up Donald Trump's Abraham Accords. And like all of that has been not normal.
All
and
Americans terrible rhetoric as well.
The wide open border, all of it is not normal. And so because of that, Americans are still aching for normal. And so what do they get? They get Donald Trump, who presented a normal presidency from 2017 to 2019 before the pandemic. Things were pretty normal. Trump wasn't normal, right? No. Trump's not a normal dude. Trump's Trump, right? He's always going to be Trump.
But it was Congress that was passing the laws, and he was signing the laws that Mitch McConnell sent to him.
Right, and we had a good economy, and we had peace on the foreign front, no wars, and we all liked that. That was all good stuff. That was all normal stuff. And so the choice presented to us was Donald Trump, a admittedly not normal human, and a very, very normal administration, or Kamala Harris, who pretends to be normal, is sort of in the uncanny valley of normalcy, but not really like a human would be normal. And a bunch of policy that is exactly the same as Joe Biden's, which was abnormal. And so Americans look at that choice and like, oh my God. So if Trump is elected, which obviously I hope that he will be, if Donald Trump is elected, what people actually want is just things to calm down. That's what most people want. If you go out, I mean, I've been spending an enormous amount of time in this election cycle actually going to the swing states, right? I went and I was on the trail with Eric Hovde in Wisconsin. I was on the trail with Bernie Moreno in Ohio. And I was on the trail with Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania. Last night, I was on the trail with Ted Cruz in Texas. I'm going around the country. What people actually just want is just leave us alone. I don't want to think about this shit. Like, can I just have like a normal life? All I want is, inflation to not be at 20% and a job. And like, I can take care of my family and not a giant war somewhere that we are involved in. Like, that would be awesome. And whoever presents that, if Donald Trump presents that, if he comes into office and that's what he presents, I'm going to close the border, get us back to normal. I think that you could be entering a period of actual stability in the United States for the first time in a decade, because I think that the left could theoretically respond by saying, you know what, guys, we went way too far, and the only way to beat Donald Trump and to beat the Republican Party is to move back toward the center. And the dirty secret about Donald Trump is that Donald Trump is running as a centrist right now. He is not running as a right-winger. On policy, Donald Trump, aside from the border where he's a very right-wing guy, he's much more moderate than any Republican candidate in my lifetime, including on really, really divisive issues like abortion.
Do you think that the Democrats will isolate their more extreme wing and have like your normal Democrats come back to being normal as opposed to taking their lead from the extreme Democrats or the socialist in the party?
So the one thing that I will say about the Democratic Party is they are professionals. They are, in fact, professionals. So the Republican Party, totally unprofessional. The Republican Party can get hijacked any which way by whomever, right? I mean, it's just there's no infrastructure or nothing. The Democratic Party is so professional that if their candidate dies on stage in a debate, They will take him, just throw him out the back door and just shove somebody else in there. That's what a professional party does. That's not a coup. That's a professional party doing what a professional party does. Okay, so if they believe that their pathway to victory is jettisoning the AOC agenda, I do think that they will do that. I mean, by the way, they did that in 2020. Bernie Sanders was leading the first couple of primaries, and they kicked his ass out. And they were like, we'll get James Clyburn to testify for him. We'll get a bunch of people to drop out. They'll all endorse Joe Biden, who has no brains functional, and they'll just shove him in.
Yeah, Kamala Harris and the Democrats are underwater on a ton of different issues, but one of the particular issues that they're above water with is abortion. I feel like a lot of people are drawn to the Democrats as a result of that issue.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.